Exactly. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, I think I kicked off all the drafts for us on the podcast in general with the Scott Fishbowl draft that started back in July. Now, after numerous drafts, we're down to the wire with our final draft of the season. And if you're following us on YouTube, I should have the screen ready to go with the draft room up and ready. We are under 2 minutes, and we're going to podcast this draft up live on
Yeah,
YouTube.
hold on. We're getting ready to. So I know we've talked about the Woo Fantasy drinking game, but we're actually getting ready to do our first ever Woo Fantasy drink. I'm downstairs. Got Alex, a girlfriend, and James, the Woo Fantasy social media director here. We're getting ready to woo it up and drink. So if they want to come over, we can drink and clink, or clink and drink.
Right.
Hold on. All right, we got to do on minute 20 here. Woo! 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 Clink.
And the drinking.
All right, we're getting some woos going on over here.
And if I know anything about my co-host as well as I do,
hold on.
Drinking and drafting.
Well, hold on.
We
got a minute left, and we got team number 2 is not in the draft room here.
Oh well.
Hang on.
That's on
this
them.
Is the job of a commissioner.
Yeah, you have a commission Nick Heffley organizing this thing here. This is the Experts League draft that we have done for several years now. It's kind of a nice little wrinkle to it. It's kind of your regular PPR setup on ESPN draft. So you're getting your normal points, your 6 points per passing touchdown for quarterback. All scoring is pretty well standard across the board for running backs, wide receivers. And the only wrinkle to this league is that the worst team in the league is booted at the end of the year and not allowed back in the subsequent year. As you can hear in the background, that sound means we just had a draft startup. David Johnson, first off the board, going to the aforementioned Mr. Charisma.
Hey.
Yes, Nick back.
Your boyfriend, is he there with you?
Uh-oh, here we go. Fun times ahead of us here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. David Johnson first off the board, followed by Todd Gurley second off the board. Let's see. I have pick 7 in this draft here. Nick has pick 11 at the end of this first round. So much to be discussed here.
World.
So far, the board is kind of falling a little bit in a normal, as you would think in most of these PPR drafts. Le'Veon Bell at 3. 2. See, now the 4th team. Do they go Ezekiel Elliott with the injury to the offensive line issues that are going on, that are prevalent in Dallas right now?
B, what were the first 2 picks?
First 3 picks. We're 3 picks off the board right now. David Johnson to Mr. Charisma, Justin Farley. Todd Gurley at 2. Le'Veon Bell to a part-time podcaster himself, Tyler Fisk. We're at pick 4 here in the first round. Antonio Brown. So you're going to see Ezekiel Elliott slip down this board. Everyone is buying into the offensive line issues in Dallas currently.
I'm sure much to your liking here, but I don't think he's going to pass this pick.
I mean, I would love to see this here at pick 7 falling my way.
You are
wanted to fall to pick 7. Cash in the chips, ladies and gentlemen, because I think we're going to get a winner. But no, he goes at pick 5. Yeah, so we'll go ahead.
Yeah. To the athlete name, so that's Philip Hampton there. I think he misspelled Goodell's Goons. He spelled it Goodell's.
Did he? Yeah. So now we have Barkley at pick 6 off the board.
Oh, and you are on the clock at pick 7.
I am on the clock.
What are you thinking? You got a minute 20. What are you thinking?
See, minute 20. I mean, obviously the easy pick is going to be Alvin Kamara here at pick 7. I think that's going to be the easiest route to go here. It's the gimme pick. He's also a player that I have yet to draft in any draft so far in the 2018
So does that mean
season.
you're going to take him?
Right now, I will tell you right now. Yeah, I am leaning towards Alvin Kamara. Of course, you still have on the board. You have your receiver options in DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham Jr. But in this first round of a fantasy football draft, if you're in this first half to middle section of the first round, running back's going to go hot and heavy, ladies and gentlemen. So you're going to have to get your running back while you can. So that is going to be the pick for me, and I will go Alvin Kamara at pick 7 here in the first round. We will play it back in round 2 to see what kind of comes back to me. I expect it to be a best player available pick. But now we're going to work our way down to pick 11, where young Nick Heffley will be the next pick for the podcast here.
I mean, I'm going best player available unless Hopkins falls here, but picking from 11.
I was going to say, like, the way a lot of our drafts have gone so far, I mean, you're probably going to be looking at Hopkins there.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be there. I think he's going in the next couple of picks.
You think this room will not let that happen?
He is not getting past Brian Harwood. The leader of the SBFFC is picking right in front of me. He is not going to get past him. I can assure you he is not going.
I would probably sign on for that as much as I know Harwood myself.
Yeah, no, he's not getting past. And that's one of the things, at least in this expert draft, that a lot of us know each other. A lot of us are in multiple drafts together, to where I might not have drafts in the same draft room. Dr. Brian Harwood here, but
we go. We have an Odell
went ahead, and
pick. Then Hopkins goes right in front.
So a pick before me here. I'm hoping double running backs.
Leonard Fournette, the pick at number 10 to SBFFC to Brian Harwood. So now we have Nick Heffley on the clock at pick 11. Right now he's looking at anywhere from Melvin Gordon, Kareem Hunt, Dalvin Cook as his available pick.
So I have him in so many drafts, and I'm thinking about going him here, but so I've gotten Melvin Gordon in so many drafts. It's either him or Kareem Hunt or Dalvin Cook. For the money that it's worth, I've got to keep going Melvin Gordon here. He is the guy. He's my guy in every draft. I mean, I've thought about switching it up, but I think he's going to have a monster year. I'm going right back to the well.
So Melvin Gordon, the pick.
Would love to see another, and I can just go ahead and tell you,
So we go Julio Jones, Dalvin Cook to round out the. See, Julio Jones, the last pick of round 1, followed by Dalvin Cook on the wraparound. So we have the pick here at team at pick 12 at the tail end has gone. Julio Jones, Dalvin Cook to start their draft. Not that bad of a start, I would venture to guess.
So I've got...
Nick is back up at second pick of round 2 right now. You have Keenan Allen on the board, but Kareem Hunt staring you in the face. A double running back start of Kareem Hunt and Melvin Gordon sounds like the pick to me.
I am deciding between Kareem Hunt and actually Christian McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey could have a huge year. I am actually going to throw a little curveball here. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to have a humongous year, so I am actually going to go him over Kareem Hunt here. I'm a little nervous with Kareem Hunt and Pat Mahomes, so I'm going with CMC is the pick guarantee?
Not scared by the offensive line woes of the Carolina Panthers either.
This he's gonna be and Kareem Hunt's got a rookie quarterback thrown to him.
Well, just for the sake of argument, I would have made Kareem Hunt the pick there myself. I think there's a safer floor with Kareem Hunt between himself and Christian McCaffrey there.
And from my perspective, guess what? You can't win leagues by being safe. Christian McCaffrey, I think, is one of those guys that, the talk preseason was that Ron Rivera was going to use him mightily.
And we're seeing that a lot.
And that's what I saw in the preseason. He has looked amazing.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous on Kareem Hunt as he just goes. Yeah. Just goes the at 2.3. I think we're splitting hairs here, but I think Chris McCaffrey has a lot better of a chance to finish ahead of Kareem Hunt. I'm a little nervous with Kareem Hunt and Pat Mahomes. Although I have warmed to the situation, I came in this draft knowing I was picking 11th about an hour ago, and I was like, you know what? I'm going double running back. That's been my strategy. I want to come out with three top backs in the first, possibly 4 rounds. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it pretty much just it winds up.
And Brandon's back on the clock right after Keenan Allen, Kareem Hunt, Michael Thomas, and we are back to Brandon.
Yeah,
AJ Green, Devontae Freeman, Davante Adams, Gronk.
Yeah, back to me here on the board. Of course, made the pick of Alvin Kamara to start my draft here. AJ Green, as you can see on the board here, if you're watching live on YouTube, is the top player recommended on ESPN in their draft room. Not really sold on Devontae Freeman, who they've got second here in this top player listing. My pick is going to be show favorite Davante Adams of the Green Bay Packers is going to be the pick here to start my first two rounds of this draft. Alvin Kamara as well as Davante Adams. We're going to put it on the board.
Yes.
Yes.
You can put it on the board. Yes. That was a bad yes, but
yeah,
you got it.
I'm feeling pretty good there with that.
I think I would have actually gone AJ Green, but I don't think it's too much off for Davante Adams.
Yeah.
The only thing Davante Adams just worries me with the number of catches he's going to get compared to AJ Green, who went right after you picked him to Brady's buzzsaw there. Brad List, right behind you there. I don't think you can go wrong either way. I think AJ Green is going to get more catches than Davante Adams with similar numbers. So, I don't think you can have a problem with it.
Nah, I see Davante Adams as having the higher ceiling between the two. Should be able to get into the end zone more, I think, in 2018 than AJ Green. So, of course, AJ Green was the pick following right behind me there.
This is that spot of round one where, if you have a top 4 pick, you're kind of getting in this area of the second round where it's just kind of meh.
Then we have the first tight end off the board, Rob Gronkowski, making an appearance here kind of towards the end of round 2. I'm not a fan of that. I do not like selecting the tight end in round 2.
He went to Philip Hampton, elder statesman of the Hampton Cup League.
Yes.
that you and I have been in. That's been going on when they were still doing drafts and sending in their lineups through the mail back in the early years.
Now we're down to
he's been doing it
here. Stephon Diggs just went 11th pick of round 2, right in front of Mr. Charisma, who I believe, shocks me there with the pick as T.Y. Hilton. I would have almost assumed, of course, he has back-to-back picks here. Be shocked if he did not pull the trigger on Amari Cooper. Big.
It's just that's Mr. Charisma's guy here.
Yeah, that would. To me,
I
think
wouldn't.
that
I
would
wouldn't.
be,
Yeah.
yep,
Okay.
and
That
bang,
figures.
just like I call it, like I see it. Amari Cooper, second pick of the wrap, first pick of round 3 for Justin Farley here in this draft. Followed by Jordan Howard's next pick as we start round 3.
This is that spot though. LaShawn McCoy, is that one guy. What are your thoughts on LaShawn McCoy? We're sitting right here. I mean, if Shady McCoy didn't have all these injury, all this questions on,
well, the question marks
what's
there,
going on with him,
but you get to a point to where, I mean, if it falls to me in the 7th pick of the 3rd round, the value far exceeds the question marks in my estimation.
100%.
Would gladly take LaShawn McCoy here at the 7th pick of the 3rd round if he makes it back to me. The true question is going to be, are these people scared of the question marks surrounding LaShawn McCoy?
I love to use it. I mean, let's face it. He didn't do anything, and he may have hired somebody to do said action, but I don't. If something happens, it's not going to be this year. I mean, I don't. Yeah. Oh, get up! Sorry, I'm watching the Braves. I'm watching the Braves game, and we have just gone ahead of the Chicago Cubs here in the 5th inning. So
gotta love almost September baseball while we're doing fantasy football drafts, ladies and gentlemen. So
got a woo from the social media here. I mean, what are we gonna watch here? We're gonna watch the.
I'm watching the soon-to-be back-to-back college football national champions, the Central Florida Golden Knights, is what I'm watching. So getting back into the draft here, we've got Jordan Howard after the Amari Cooper pick to start round 3, followed by Joe Mixon, followed by Tyreek Hill. Now Doug Baldwin has found himself off the board with the injury questions, where he readily admitted the other day that he will be fighting this injury all year long that he has with the knee injury. Derrick Henry's the pick right in front of me.
Right in front of you. Guess who falls? What a lucky bastard.
And LaShawn McCoy falls to me here.
You sure you're going to make the pick? You sure you want that? You sure?
Let's see here. First of all, we gotta
make sure he's not got the same bye week as my other 2 guys.
Oh okay. No, we're not worried about that whatsoever.
What do I need to do to talk you out of LaShawn McCoy?
Oh no, there's probably not going to be a talking me out of LaShawn McCoy situation right here. I think that's going to be the pick. I mean, if you look at it otherwise, I mean, who else am I going to take here? Am I going to take a Kenyon Drake or Jerick McKinnon? I think this floor is there and a lot safer with LaShawn McCoy here in this selection, and that is who I am going to take. LaShawn McCoy, starting off my draft. Now I have 2 running backs, Alvin Kamara, along with LaShawn McCoy and Devontae Adams, my first 3 picks here in this draft, the Experts League draft, following live here on YouTube.
Let's see, hold on. Let's see.
Of course, now we have the team that is right behind me is a man named Neil Lowry that we've been doing drafts with for a few years. Always tends to bleed the clock no matter how long the draft clock is. It almost seems like he's the typical guy that's in your draft room that fumbles around through papers just to look at guys that he knows he's not going to draft, but just to look at the name.
Neil, we were in the 9th or 10th round of our dynasty draft when people are just grasping at straws, and he goes Royce Freeman.
He goes Royce Freeman. I'm assuming that Nick was probably hoping Royce Freeman fell here in round 3, even though Vance Joseph was announced that Devontae Booker was his starter just the other day. How are we feeling about that?
Oh, here we go. Kenyon Drake. So
Kenyon Drake right in front of Nick here. So
by the way, which is perfect because I went double running back if you remember from the first round here. So I've got Larry Fitzgerald, Adam Thielen on the board here to be able to pick from.
Yeah.
I have
wide receiver 1 for Nick. I have a feeling that Fitzgerald is probably the pick for you. Old favorite?
No, I've kind of cooled on Fitzgerald here, so I'm probably considering. We got Demaryius Thomas sitting here is a favorite of mine. Adam Thielen, Larry Fitzgerald. I'm trying to figure out exactly what direction I'm going to go here. Leaning Demaryius Thomas. I know the team behind me, I think, grabbed a running back wide receiver, so I know he's probably going to get at least one wide receiver. Touchdown production, I think Thielen's going to get some looks, but I am going to go. I think I am going to go Adam Thielen right here.
Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen.
How are we feeling about that pick there?
I had him last year in a lot of leagues. He was my fifth, sixth rounder last year. I was high on him. You were not. He absolutely caught a ton of balls. Didn't score as many touchdowns, but I think
not get into the end zone as much as you would.
He
hope.
did not. But with the amount of balls he caught, I'm a fan. So just to give you a quick update right here, I am hoping Demaryius Thomas falls to me round 2. That would be the pick. But we got double picks here by the team at Team 12, the Kamikaze Skeeters.
Who
goes
Jerick
McKinnon,
Julio Jones, Dalvin Cook, now Jerick McKinnon.
Have a feeling we're going to go. Yeah, I have a feeling we'll go running back, and he's going to get one of the wide receivers. Hopefully, he goes Larry Fitzgerald, so I can get Demaryius Thomas. If he goes,
if he goes Allen Robinson, kind of reaches down the board a little bit. So now we know for sure what the pick is going to be here to Nick Heffley. He's going to go Demaryius Thomas.
Let's double check here that I don't want to. I'm a fan of a couple of these guys that are here on the board, but Case Keenum, my girlfriend sitting over here, she is a huge Denver Broncos fan. This is for you, babe. We're going Demaryius Thomas.
Demaryius Thomas is the pick.
Put it on the. Oh, we got a woo out of her. So Alex is winning. That's for you, Annie Fran. Get foul. That's shit.
I think what you're looking at right
go ahead. There,
just from my point of view, I think you're going to have two. I think you've got two wide receivers there that are essentially wide receiver 2 type production, and you've got them both right now. So I think production wise, you're going to be able to get enough out of these two guys. I don't think you have a bona fide wide receiver 1 right now. If I had to critique the start to this draft, but that's what happens when you start double running back at the 11th spot in a draft as well. See, and then the first quarterback comes off the board here. 3rd pick, round 4, Brian Harwood / Matt Krantz team of SBFFC takes Aaron Rodgers. Little early. If you followed this show at all, or you follow any of the experts around the industry, you would know we say wait on your quarterback, and that is definitely going to be a pick there that I think is going to come back and bite him. Alex Collins there, if you're following here on YouTube, that is actually Larry Fitzgerald is the team that was selected here by SBFFC. Then the quarterback comes off the board to here in the 4th pick of round 3. And then the Alex Collins pick there, which leaves me looking at a few options here. Got Juju Smith-Schuster on the board. We've got Jarvis Landry on the board. Golden Tate's on the board. I've got a few options here that we're looking at. But with the safe start that I've had with the 2 running backs that I've selected, definitely going to go with wide receiver production here. And for me, the pick.
Hey, I'm back.
Right here, and Nick is back here just in time to see me select Jarvis Landry is the pick.
Wow. Great pick. I was considering him to tail end of 4 there. So no, I don't have a problem with that pick whatsoever. I think I like the other guy's touchdown potential just a little bit more, especially with Josh Gordon coming back. But I don't have a problem with that pick at all.
Yeah, I think it's going to free up.
I do have a problem with Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde is going right behind you too.
Carlos Hyde is the
Interesting.
selection right behind me. I do not agree with that pick as well. That is a bit of a reach here in round 4. The other pick that I was actually kind of wavering on right there is actually to go ahead and to attack the tight end position. I thought about
I was just
pulling
about
the
to say,
trigger.
I'm almost surprised you didn't go
there.
Zach Ertz,
I
especially with some of the
thought-
wide receiver depth there. I would have gone Zach Ertz.
Yeah, I was thinking about Zach Ertz there, but in my opinion, there is a little bit of a drop off as we get into round 5, but just with the expectance of the wide receivers that are about to come off the board. There's some options there
Ooh,
that
there we go.
I'm not sure I would have
We're
liked.
getting some quarterbacks here, Deshaun.
Yeah, we're getting into some quarterbacks action here in round 4. Like we've said on this podcast numerous times, your home leagues, you're always going to have guys that are going to go after quarterbacks earlier than you. Don't fall into the trap. We've got Zach Ertz, Golden Tate just off the board. As we're here to wrap up round 4 during this draft.
Anybody falling here you didn't necessarily expect to be falling this far?
As we get Chris Hogan off the board. Wow, this board is
back to the end round 4, start around 5
Yeah.
with Mr. Charisma.
with Mr. Charisma.
He's got to be going running back here. I'm thinking Lamar Miller is one of the picks. He's Lamar Miller.
Picks. I'd be shocked if he doesn't grab Mark Ingram here too. If he goes double running back. Let's see if let's look at his roster here. David Johnson followed by T.Y. Hilton and Amari Cooper. So yeah, I do agree. I would almost say he goes Deion Lewis, Lamar Miller.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about Deion Lewis there. I think he selected Deion Lewis in one of our other drafts. So I would be actually kind of shocked.
Deion Lewis
Deion
off the board. When you know a Titans fan, you see a Titans fan, and they select their Tennessee Titans with authority. That is one pick that
he seems like he's kind of wavering here with this pick. I think he's got to be going Lamar Miller.
Possibly. Which I'm not a big fan of Lamar Miller. I know that the talk's there that he's lost the weight.
I'm not. I mean, he is, I'll give it to him. I mean, he is looking good. I mean, with Sean Watson being there, I mean, I don't. Oh, and Josh Gordon goes to Mr. Charisma. Honestly, that was the pick that I thought if he doesn't go Lamar Miller, I think he's wavering, possibly thinking about going Josh Gordon. There goes my tight end. I have him in almost every other league. There's Evan Ingram. So.
Evan Ingram off the board. Yeah, that's
Ingram gone.
That's yikes.
That's a little early for my liking in round 5. I'm thinking more of a round 6 kind of thing, but. You know,
I mean, especially he's fighting the concussion syndrome right now. I mean, he'll likely be good to go come week 1, but still, it's a bit of a reach here as we're in round 5. Pick is to Tyler Fisk right now. Tyler Fisk, who has Le'Veon Bell, Mike Evans, Joe Mixon, Golden Tate. Nice little round 4 start there. I like some of the guys that he's got put on that team so far. His pick is in, and he goes Jay Ajayi.
And then he fucks it all up by going Jay Ajayi.
Yeah.
He's been on. We've done a couple of drafts with Tyler here. He likes Jay Ajayi for some reason. In a PPR league, I am not a fan of Jay Ajayi.
It's a coin toss thing. I mean, either you got the guys that really buy into the fact that they think he's going to get the workload in that offense, or you're going to get guys like myself that believe that is a true running back by committee in Philadelphia, and all the guys are going to get touches. Corey Clement's going to get touches. Darren Sproles is going to get touches.
I'm more of that thing. I would much rather have Corey Clement in these type of drafts.
Yeah, for the value you give up for him as well. Jamal Williams, the pick in right now.
Oh wow, interesting pick. Larry, this worthless bunch. Larry Worth is a guy that. This is the only draft we do with Larry, and Larry is finishing the top half of this league. He goes Jamal Williams, which I know is a Woo Fantasy favorite here. I like the pick compared to what's on the board. He's going to catch passes. I like him better than Lamar Miller or Marshawn Lynch, who's the top-rated players, at least in the draft room here. Solid pick.
He started off his draft with Antonio Brown, Devontae Freeman, Tyreek Hill, Zach Ertz, Jamal Williams. So if you're buying into the hype that's being spewed about by Mike McCarthy, is that Jamal Williams is going to get a healthy dose of work, then that's a good pick. But we all know. Let's see. Now we got Marvin Jones, last pick off the board, followed by Lamar Miller. Let's see. Pick back to
you.
Pick back to me here.
What are you thinking? You've gone what have you gone first? Let's see. So you've got two running backs, two receivers. So what are you going? Best player available here? You going quarterback? Where are you going?
Yeah, for me, it's going to be a best player available situation right here, and I'm actually going to go with a guy that's finished as a top 5 at the position last year. Coming into this season, is going to be suspended for the first 4 games of the year.
Julian Edelman.
Yeah, that's not going to be the pick.
I was hoping he would fall. I didn't think he'd last past it. Goddamn.
Mark Ingram will be coming to join my team as my running back 3. Once he is back on the field, you're talking top 10 running back potential in my flex position. I'm liking the start of this draft so far. I have... So far, Alvin Kamara, Devontae Adams, LaShawn McCoy, Jarvis Landry, now Mark Ingram on the board. So far, some values dropping. That's one thing you're going to see when you get in different drafts with different individuals, is that guys value players a lot differently than you, and you'll be able to snag some players in later rounds that you did not believe was going to be there, and it looks to be the case here in this league, as Tom Brady is the selection right behind me, followed by Marshawn Lynch. Now we're to the SBFFC team, which is, I believe,
you knew he would like Juju. I think Matt is drafting.
Yeah, Matt is drafting tonight. The dual ownership team of Brian Harwood and Matt Krantz, SBFFC style. Plenty of dual ownership teams in the SBFFC. Pick us today here.
I am not a fan of a lot of these guys that are on the board right
already
here.
To that point in the draft here at the end round 5 where you're just like, yeah.
So I really like Mark Ingram. I really like Mark Ingram, but I knew he wasn't going to get past me. So this is almost that point of the draft. I really want to get a tight end and a wide receiver, maybe running back. Isaiah Crowell is sitting there, and I like him, but he's kind of fallen down my board just a little bit with the emergence of Bilal Powell in that offense. So I think right here, what I'm going to do, and this guy's the top-rated wide receiver on my board right now, and I think I'm going to just go ahead and go with him. I think he's going to have a huge year. I'm going to go Corey Davis.
I was beginning to wonder if that was going to be the pick or not. There's a lot of upside, a lot of talk about Corey Davis, but for me, I have not liked what I've seen out of Marcus Mariota going back about a year now. So
and Corey Davis, man, I mean, for me, the reason for my pick there, I think he offers the most upside. I mean, he had a huge playoff game.
Wow, we have a shocker of a pick here.
Okay.
Cam Newton off the board in round 5. Whew. Getting into some interesting picks here.
Thank you. I mean, this is where it's going to start different from the draft board right here. I mean, you got a lot of wide receivers here that are kind of pushed up. Johnson, perfect. That's fine. I don't value Duke Johnson that highly.
Too many mouths to feed in that offense right now, and I think Carlos Hyde and Nick Chubb are really kind of showing things in the preseason that might be pushing Duke Johnson in more of kind of a reserve role.
Yeah, so my pick right here, I would love to get a running back, although now I'm looking down the running back board and it is just a bunch of this
there. Not a lot.
Yeah, there. I mean, there's decent value here, but you know what I'm going to do? Now. I have not gotten this guy in any drafts so far this year and I've targeted this guy, and I'm going to go ahead and get him, and in hopes to start a little bit of a run, but I'm going to go the Reverend Jimmy Graham.
Not a bad pick. I was possibly looking at going Jimmy Graham in this round. I think I like what I see out of him so far the preseason. Plenty of touchdown potential there. Of course, this is a PPR format, so you kind of have to question whether or not he's going to catch a lot of passes in that offense, or is he just going to be the red zone threat for the team? That remains to be seen as we get into the regular season. So then we have Rex Burkhead, Robert Woods off the board. Coming into
I like Rex Burkhead, but man, the value is just not there right now.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I agree there for sure. I believe for myself here, we're gonna probably, if this pick is not made,
what are you thinking about?
I'm going receiver here. I'll tell you that right now. And there's a guy that I have in mind. Plenty of upside.
I'm gonna guess Marquise Goodwin is the pick.
Well, we're not gonna
we're not gonna say the name because I don't want to jinx it.
We don't want to jinx it because we are live streaming on YouTube, and I do not want the team in front of me to make the selection of the guy that I have targeted currently.
Something tells me they're not actually listening. Hey, I'll be right back.
Okay, and Nick taking a break from the podcast. Ronald Jones is the pick right in front of me. Oh my goodness gracious. Whew, man, it is getting interesting in this room here right now. And like we were just talking about, we have we have around.
Get the fuck off.
Let's see here.
If you don't like to win, you can suck my dick.
The drinks are.
What's up?
The drinks are flowing at the Heffley household right now.
What was John McConaughey's in this draft? What was his little thing? If you don't like Woo Fantasy, you can. What was it?
What was it? If
you
don't like Woo Fantasy, you can go fuck yourself, I believe.
That's what the
tagline was.
If you don't like Woo Fantasy, you can go fuck yourself.
That was the tagline by John McConaughey at the draft the other day. So, the expected pick, what we were talking about just a minute ago, Marquise Goodwin comes to me as my wide receiver 3 on this team to join Devontae Adams, Jarvis Landry, and now Marquise Goodwin to round out my starters. We are feeling pretty good right now. Andrew Luck now off the board.
He's starting to go a little higher.
Yeah, he's crept into a lot of rankings, top 5, top 6. I actually did boost him up in my updated rankings, I believe, to number 6 that I published last night onto rotoexperts.com. So
you got him 6, but we still got Russell Wilson and a guy I'm sure you have ranked in front is Carson Wentz.
I believe I backed Carson Wentz one spot behind Andrew Luck in my latest rankings, just for the uncertainty of health situation currently. That's just not. I mean, if you're going into the season and at minimum you're already going to miss week 1, which is right now the potential. I can't sign on for that guy. Whereas Andrew Luck, I mean, he's playing on a team where they're going to be playing from behind. We keep saying that on this show. That defense is horrible, and a lot of points are going to be had there.
Agreed.
So behind Andrew Luck, we had Chris Carson go, which now that has been the first time I've seen Chris Carson drafted this early, followed by Emmanuel Sanders.
I mean, who picked him? Philip Hampton picked him. I know Philip got him in the.
Philip Hampton drafted him in our auction league that we did just this last weekend. So I guess, if you do 2 leagues a year and that's your guy, then that's, you want to have them on the same team so you can watch the same players play.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and Tyler lets the clock run out for the pick of Alshon Jeffrey. Ouch.
That's what happens when you draft from out in the sticks.
Out in the sticks. Someone get that man an internet connection. And Matthew Stafford goes. Which leads me to believe, as we get to Mr. Charisma with the back-to-back picks here, I believe we're going to see Russell Wilson's name finally called.
Yeah, although he's not as valuable, he's not as
league.
valuable in this format at all.
Yeah, even though he's not as valuable in this league where it doesn't reward the rushing points, he's still a valuable commodity. And Justin goes with Greg Olsen with the first of his 2 picks, followed by, let's see, I have a feeling.
I have a feeling it's going Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I would be shocked if he does not go Russell Wilson here, unless he's just ready to wait on a quarterback longer than I expect him to.
Unless he's doing his thing that he did a couple years ago where he was all about getting the rushing quarterback like Marcus Mariota or something.
Yeah.
Hopefully for me, this will start the tight end run because I know I took him hoping to have a little bit of a tight end run so I could get some other players on the back end that weren't necessarily expected there. But so far, at least other than Greg Olsen, we've not had one go out yet. So
yeah, no, you've got you got some. There are some players that are still there, but wow, he goes Julian Edelman in a complete shock to me. Wow, I think he could have waited another round or 2 on that Julian Edelman.
I don't. He wouldn't have got past me.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Wow. Okay. Kerryon Johnson, the second pick to start round 7 here. Followed by Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks coming back to Tyler Fisk, who just auto-drafted Alshon Jeffrey. That's interesting.
Yeah, he is not a big fan of the Alshon Jeffrey pick. Robbie Anderson, the next selection. Now we're back to Philip Hampton, 2 picks in front of me.
What's Philip got in here so far? Let's see. Sean, Zeke, Carson, Baldwin, Jones, and Gronk. So I'm thinking wide receiver, running back. I would be shocked if Michael Crabtree was not back here.
Yeah.
Or Sammy Watkins. I don't know why he's high for some reason on Sammy Watkins. I have no idea why, but
yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. I don't understand the Sammy Watkins.
I will not be touching.
In the preseason so far, I believe the stat that I saw was 1 for 7 on targets from Patrick Mahomes to Sammy Watkins so far, and that includes an interception. So that rapport has not been there so far, to say the least, between that quarterback and receiver combo. Will Fuller, someone trying to go with double points here with the Deshaun Watson pick that they made earlier.
That's smart. Double points in a league like this is definitely smart. I mean, I know in our Hampton Cup league, Philip and I went toe to toe on Will Fuller, and Rashad Penny is the pick back to Gladiators, Blade Runners, who nabbed up. He's going after the running backs here. That's one. He's got Barkley, Henry, Hyde, Miller, Penny. I mean, and we've talked about this. I mean, the value is definitely in the running backs at this point, as opposed to the wide receivers. It is definitely behooves you to get one of these guys, early, because I mean, see, you got plenty of value at wide receiver here, so not bad.
And let's see here. As I'm looking on my board, I have less than a minute to go. We've discussed so far. I have Alvin Kamara, LaShawn McCoy, Mark Ingram in this draft, and at receiver, Devontae Adams, Jarvis Landry, Marquise Goodwin. So I've gone 3 running backs, 3 wide
put on
receivers.
Tilt there? You put on Tilt?
No,
you wouldn't have gone to Sharp Penny.
I would have thought about Rashad Penny there. Probably would have made the pick just for the reason being that I like the player. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go and grab... We're going to go ahead and...
You're going to get Russell Wilson?
We're going to go ahead and grab old Russell Wilson here.
I had a feeling you were going that way. When I saw him on the board, I had a feeling he might be going
Yeah, I'm gonna get my starting quarterback here on the team. Like we said, the defense is really bad. They're gonna need to score points, and Russell Wilson is gonna get those points for the Seahawks this year. So I think that was kind of an obvious pick for me to get my starting quarterback here because I had looking at the board. I know the three of the five behind me already have a quarterback, but two teams do not, including Nick Heffley here. So. Nick
Well, I know if it gets to me. I mean, Team Squad here's got one. Who just went Tevin Coleman. Yeah, I'm just not a Tevin Coleman.
No, for me, he's more of Coleman's more of a kind of a keeper league dynasty guy right now because I think there's going to be more expected of him next year when he's likely to find a new home elsewhere.
I've got the good Dr. Brian Harwood in front of me.
And they go
good.
Tight,
I was hoping that I could get Carson Wentz. So the good thing is behind me. I mean, the plan's to get Carson Wentz here. Team behind me has already drafted Cam Newton.
Yeah,
I can go
got a quarterback, so you're kind of more flexible with this position here.
Absolutely. A guy that I was considering with the last pick is still here. Just take a look, see what else, if anything, is here. Yeah, I'm going to go Woo Fantasy draft favorite. We're going with Isaiah Crowell. Thought about taking him in the last round. Waited, and looks like he made it back to me, and went ahead and got him.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue that pick there. You're in round 7. You're getting a guy that's going to be getting a lot of touches in that offense for the Jets on a team that's going to want to run the ball and try to kill the clock and try to keep other teams' offenses off the field. So I like the pick.
We're gonna boo. Apparently, people don't like the Isaiah Crowell pick.
the social media director in the background does not like the Isaiah Crowell pick.
But he does like my ass, so there's that.
Oh, okay. Well, that counts as well. Kyle Rudolph. Finish round.
Here we go with these tight ends. What are you thinking there? You hoping to get what tight end are you? Got to be getting.
I mean, it's if the value's there. I mean, the tight ends that are available right now, you've got Trey Burton, Jack Doyle, Jordan Reed, O.J. Howard, George Kittle. Much of these guys right here are guys that I do not see as 8th round selections.
Yeah, I am. My strategy has played out correctly, as I had hoped. The team at the end who drafted Carson Wentz would not take a quarterback. I would be drafting Heffley fantasy favorite Carson Wentz. Here, coming back. That is definitely my boy here. Top rated quarterback on the board. He is mine. He has been my number 4 overall rated quarterback the entire year. As the social media director is roster baiting for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with the pick. Did we pause the draft?
Negative. It's still going. Your thing must have froze there. I've got Cooper Kupp, Pierre Garcon. We are $1.15. Team Squad is up. Oh, you are out of the draft room right now, sir.
Yeah, I'm having to pull it back up again.
And there you go.
Oh, let's see.
Let's be fair. We are on ESPN right now drafting. I am not a fan of their draft groups.
Not
boots me out, boots me back in.
What were the last 2 picks? If you could bring that back to me.
After I took Wentz, we had Cooper Kupp go to the good doctor, leader of the SBFFC, Brian Harwood.
Cooper
Kupp, then Pierre Garcon. Goes to the aptly named my tight end Ertz when Eifert.
Right, so then that's got me back on track here. Yeah, I must have frozen in the draft room there. Not a fan of this new ESPN draft format.
It shows all the. Why the fuck do I want to see what Josh Doxson, like a picture of Josh Doxson looks like? I don't give a shit. Just tell me his name and tell me his stats. Like.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan here on this at all whatsoever. Randall Cobb goes here, who there's a good chance that he's going to be dealt or cut from the Packers if you want to believe the numbers.
I have never been a fan of Randall Cobb, nor am I now, and this is even worse. Thank you for taking
So.
Oh, and we got you back on the board here. What you got? What you
back on the board
what you thinking?
here? I don't value the tight ends that are available currently at this point. Not a big Sammy Watkins fan. If you're watching on YouTube live right now, you see he's the top player available on the board. So for me, the decision comes down to 2 wide receivers. PPR format.
Who's the 2 wide receivers that's coming down?
2 wide receivers I'm looking at right now is going to be the cross between Jamison Crowder and Kelvin Benjamin. Kelvin Benjamin's playing on a poor offense, but also on a poor team that's going to be playing from behind a lot, whereas Jamison Crowder's playing with Alex Smith, who prefers to throw to the player out of the slot. And in a PPR format on a team that I think is going to need to score points to stay in ball games, I think that will be the pick, Jamison Crowder.
I think that's easily the better of the picks there. You don't know who's going to be throwing the ball at Kelvin Benjamin. You have somebody in Alex Smith who you know has at least made Tyreek Hill a top wide receiver. That's easily the pick I would have done.
Yes, I think that was the no-brainer pick. Now as we're kind of floating on down the draft board a little bit here, you're in round 8 of a 17-round draft.
What's your strategy? What's your strategy here? Round 8 of a 17-round draft. What's your strategy? Are you still going, hey, BPA, or are you starting to target some guys? I mean, it seems like right here you just went best player available. Where you
that
going?
Was all. I mean, it's always going to be a best player available situation for me. Tariq Cohen now the pick off the board. That is just a guy that I cannot buy into. Followed by Chris Thompson, another pick that I just cannot buy into.
I like Chris Thompson more than I like Tariq Cohen, only for the touchdown. I think the only problem with some of these guys that only are out there in PPR leagues catching passes. The only tough thing is these guys usually don't score touchdowns. So I'm usually this is about the round that I want to start taking them in round 9, round 10. But before that, it's too risky. I'd rather get a guy that also like Isaiah Crowell that's catching passes, but also scoring touchdowns.
Well, a lot of these guys are so game plan dependent as Adrian Peterson comes off the board. That was probably a player that I was looking at this next round. If you want to kind of talk about targeting a player, if he would have snuck into the 9th round, then yes, I would have thought about him there. Peyton Barber.
There's the guy I was targeting right there, Peyton Barber. I was hoping he'd make it back to me over there, but yeah, I had a feeling he'd probably get picked. He's starting to go a little bit higher, as he should. He should be starting to go higher in some of these drafts.
Yeah, and I'd be willing to bet that Peyton Barber was going to be a pick that Mr. Charisma here, Justin Farley, would probably have been looking at, as he's still with only two running backs on his roster, David Johnson and Dion Lewis.
I'm sure he thought one of these 4 guys would drop to him.
Yes.
And left the draft again, apparently.
Who did?
You're out of the draft room right now. Again. Why don't you get some better internet talking about other people's internets? You're out of the room again there on your slow West Tennessee. Sony Michel just goes to Mr. Charisma.
Ugh.
Not a fan of that.
Not a fan of that whatsoever. Huh.
And Marlon Mack, heavily fantasy favorite. Marlon Mack goes. Not a bad pick. I think there's that spot where you start taking chances on some guys with him only having 2 running backs. I think you got to go with somebody like that. Kenny Galladay right after, and we're back.
Yeah, back in the ball game here. We got, let's see, so Sony Michel was the pick, followed by Marlon Mack. Kenny Galladay, the next selection off the board.
Now, I wouldn't mind Kenny Galladay if he didn't have if Tate or Jones were hurt. I would love some Kenny Galladay. But
yeah.
As of right now, I would rather have a Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin at least can easily overtake Deshaun Jackson for the job, whereas Kenny Galladay, Jones is really good, Tate is really good. I don't see enough balls to go around to make Kenny Galladay happy.
No, I agree. I mean, it's like I've said all offseason long. I see him as being more of that red zone threat for the team now. With Eric Ebron gone, they're going to need a big body down there close to the end zone. I think Kenny Galladay fits that mold. So you're looking at a guy that's probably, I mean, he can cap out for about 7 touchdowns, I think, this year for you. But in a PPR format, I don't think what you're going to want on a weekly basis is going to be there for you in a PPR league. He's just not going to catch the passes as David Njoku goes to Tyler Fisk, followed by Aaron Jones.
David Njoku. Wow.
Yeah, he's a big fan of Njoku.
I was going to say, he's really, really buying in. I am not. And then Aaron Jones, a Woo Fantasy boo out there.
Boo.
Not a fan of Aaron Jones.
Yeah, he's of course missing the first 2 games of the season.
But he did. I think it's the same. This is the same team that let's double check here. Worthless Bunch. I think he is the same team that did take Jamal. He is. Yeah, same team that took Jamal Williams there a little earlier. We had a like. I mean, that's not a bad pick. You gotta handcuff your guys like we talked about.
True. Yeah, you're covering the Green Bay backfield there, so that pick should work. Whether one of those guys separates from the other remains to be seen. I do like Jamal Williams. I mean, I've said that now since last year. He's
you have. I was on him. I was on him right there with you. I wasn't necessarily as high, although decent amount of the league. Nelson Aguilar was going to be my. I think.
Really, that would have been your pick this
round.
Yeah,
I think with Alshon Jeffrey, going down and Felice being out 2 weeks, I think, especially with me having wins, I thought double points would have been a good thing to have. So.
Benjamin was the pick in front of me, so I almost wound up being able to get Kelvin Benjamin the following round after I was already looking at him as a potential candidate to join my team.
You've gone him had he had fallen? You haven't wide receivers are able you've gone him.
I think I would have taken him right here had he been there, yes. So now what we're going to be looking at here is going to be this is going to be the round where I want to target a player. And if you follow along on this show, you know who I'm going here. Big time favorite. Going Anthony Miller here in round 9.
This is pretty much how it's been the whole year when you and I drafted together.
Yes.
I want Anthony Miller. It was kind of funny. It was our points league we had on Friday night at the SPFFC a couple weeks back, and I had to pick right in front of Brandon coming around, and I just look at Brandon, and I give him a little wink, and he knows, like, oh, you son of a bitch. Yep. He knew exactly what I was about to do. And then I was getting ready to do the exact same thing here to him, so.
Well, I figured the way I look at it, there's no way he's coming back to me because you have 2 picks right behind me. And round 9 is probably going to be the point to where that's the point in which you need to draft him right now. That's about where his ADP has fallen. So I will gladly take Anthony Miller as my wide receiver 5 in round 9, followed by Sterling Shepard and Jordan Reed, the next 2 picks back behind me. Jordan Reed, that's your classic boomer bust pick. If he stays on the field, he could be a really, really key contributor for your fantasy team. That is the question mark. Can he stay on the field? The guy continuously stays injured.
Very true.
So now we're looking.
I think at this point, though, I think if you take somebody like that and a round or 2, I think you go ahead and grab another tight end just to prevent. Jordan Reed, if he's on the field, Alex Smith loves throwing the tight ends. I think Earth is going to be a great.
He does. I will give you that.
James White. The jackass Dr. Harwood took my fucking.
James White goes right in front of me.
James White goes right in front of me. So now we got a question of who exactly to take here. So I've got 3 receivers. I've got 3 running backs. So it's pretty much an even squad here at this point. So taking a look as my phone decides to start fucking blowing up right as I'm trying to pick here. Got a couple of guys in mind that I want to take here. Why does my phone keep blowing up? Jesus. A guy who I am I'm really high on, but I haven't taken in a lot of drafts. I think I'm going to take here and make sure behind me anyway that we are not going to get nailed by somebody. Jordan Wilkins, we are in a PPR
on the pick here.
So the pick here is going to actually. I tell you what, the pick here, the wide receiver, I think I can wait on. So I'm going to go ahead and I just took Isaiah Crowell. I'm going to go ahead and take Bilal Powell here. I'm going to go ahead and back up my previous round pick. Going to go ahead and get my handcuff to the previous pick. He's a top rated player in the RotoWire draft kit. On here, rated a little bit lower on ESPN, but I'm going to go ahead and take him just to solidify a position as Trey Burton goes right behind me.
Yeah, Trey Burton goes right behind you, and
so my thinking on that
was questionable because I was looking at the board here and I saw that there was one team behind me that had not had a tight end left, or that had not drafted a tight end yet. So I was thinking Trey Burton was potentially coming to me.
Yeah, we had a backup tight end.
Yeah, we had a second tight end drafted to Team 12. Yeah. Wow, that is a shocker.
Well, the good thing is, and again, I was talking about this with somebody the other day who somebody drafted a couple tight ends early in a league. Remember, you can still start a tight end at a flex position. That is not a bad pick at all.
Yeah,
not a bad pick.
I mean, the receivers they're looking at right now, you've got Julio Jones, you got Allen Robinson, you got Devin Funchess. I think all three of those guys are going to start weekly. He just drafts Kenny Stills, who I think I still would have. I mean, Kenny Stills is a player. I think he probably could have gone Kenny Stills and Rashard Matthews there, something like that, to fill out that receiver position.
I was just about to go Kenny Stills right there.
Yeah, I think that was
going to be the pick that I have here. So I am much to Brandon's chagrin. I am actually thinking about going tight end here. The question isn't if I do it. I do like Jack Doyle. Jack Doyle, when he has been on the field, has done some scoring. I see a lot of these wide receivers that are right here as basically being the same guy, even though I only have 3 right now, which only just barely fills up my starting roster. Got Jordy Nelson. The wide receivers do kind of tail off here in just a little bit. So we got Devontae Parker, we got Jordy Nelson on the clock here. I think I am not buying into this guy tapering off as much. So we are going to go former Aaron Rodgers' favorite, Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson, the pick there. And he could turn back the hands of time here in this offense.
There's just something. Here's the reason I don't like Amari Cooper. I had Amari Cooper last year. I had him even the year before like that. I don't know why.
You had him in a bad year last year.
I did, but Carr does not look at him. Carr wanted to go to Crabtree so hard last year. And I don't know why
he took the last 2 years, really, if you look at it that way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the last 2 years. He doesn't look at him. So I don't know if he has something against the guy. I don't know what it is. He doesn't like to throw his way. Nonetheless, I think I made Brandon have a little heart flutter because I'm sure he wants Jack Doyle here. If he doesn't, he is.
Well, no, I mean, at this point, we always kind of preach to look at your draft board and see what's going on around you. I mean, I've got essentially one team on the other side of me now that has yet to draft a tight end.
Yeah. All I know is if I ain't getting Jack Doyle here, I'm a little nervous. Charles Clay and Jack Doyle goes.
Jack Doyle.
I think if I'm Brandon, I'm a little nervous right here.
Tight end. I mean, once you get past that first 10 or so players at the position, it's basically just a bunch of ham and eggers at that point. You're going to be streaming mostly when it comes down to it. It's neither here nor there. I'm not going to be reaching for a tight end just because I have to have one. I can wait and play a different guy each and every week if I think
get 3 points out of your position every week.
Hey, if I've proven anything in the last couple of years, especially with my writing on RotoExperts.com, I can pick a tight end. I do a sneaky plays article each and every week for RotoExperts.com, and
I'll give you that.
I have hit on some tight ends in weekly matchups over the last couple of years, so I can search the waiver wire. I can dig around for players better than probably most when it comes to that. So I'm not sweating the fact that I haven't drafted a tight end yet. So we'll just keep continuing to play the best player available card, or just kind of grabbing players.
And get O.J. Howard as your starting tight end.
Nah, I mean there's definitely a tight end or two that I'm looking at. Probably going to grab one next round. And
you got to. I mean, it gets down to this point to where if you don't get one, it is
Ty Montgomery.
blatantly obvious.
Ty Montgomery, the latest pick off the board. Now back to me here. Let's see. So the way my draft is set up so far: Kamara, Adams, McCoy, Landry, Mark Ingram, Marquise Goodwin, Russell Wilson, Jamison Crowder, Anthony Miller. So we're locked and loaded right now at the wide receiver position. We've got 3 pretty solid studs at running back. So right now we're thinking maybe let's go ahead and try to fill this running back position a little bit more, get some depth back there. PPR format. You got on ESPN here, if you're watching live on YouTube, Giovanni Bernard, Theo Riddick, Jeremy Hill, Devontae Booker, who is now the pseudo starting running back for your Denver Broncos. So for me, I think I might go that route. Even if Devontae Booker doesn't get the carries each and every week, I think Devontae Booker is going to catch passes in this offense. Devontae Booker coming to join this team here in round 10. So even if he does split time in that backfield, I think he's going to be the guy that's catching passes in this offense. So in a PPR format, as a bench running back for me, I think that's a solid pick on my behalf, especially with the 3 guys that I've got spearheading this running game currently.
Not a bad pick. I mean, I think amongst the guys that were there, if you didn't take one of your handcuffs there, I think he's probably the best pick.
Yeah, and I mean, as we're looking at it right now, you got Josh Doxson, Alan Hearns, Paul Richardson, Keelan Cole, top 4 picks on the board. If you're watching live here on YouTube. And also going to point out, too, while we're at it, sponsor for the show, FanDuel. Go to FanDuel, sign up while you can. Getting into next week, we're going to have Week 1 picks here on the show as well. FanDuel.com.
Who we got doing the picks there?
We're going to have Justin Farley, Mr. Charisma himself, coming on to share a few picks. Forget the name of the segment that we're going to call it. It got a good laugh out of the crew, but we're gonna have Mr. Justin Farley on the show to kind of give us some betting picks when it comes to FanDuel. But like I said, go to FanDuel. Woo Fantasy promo code is going to get you an extra $10 credit when you put in your first deposit in a New Year's agreement. Definitely go check out FanDuel. Check out our show. You're going to win some money with our picks. We're going to get you set up to cash in some of these tournaments this year here in 2018. So after Devontae Booker pick, we had Devontae Parker come off the board. We got Tyler Lockett off the board.
Woo Fantasy boo on all that.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett's a guy that's starting to kind of come up ADP boards, but like I said, I am not a fan of him. I've had him before. That trap at all whatsoever. Drew Brees, we've got a quarterback run going. Drew Brees followed by Ben Roethlisberger here. Then Michael Gallup comes off the board. That has been a guy that I have wanted to draft and have yet to been able to draft Michael Gallup in drafts. He's just not a guy that I can pull the trigger on quick enough.
He would have been where I would have leaned to start going. I think he's right there with Anthony Miller as the top rookie wideout. To be honest though, I love Anthony Miller. I love him with the Bears. Gallup has more. Gallup to me has a higher ceiling. I think Gallup easily go for 1,008.
They could be on par with each other. I'll give you that. But
I mean,
like the potential.
Miller's competing with Allen Robinson, who I think could limit his potential just with this dynamic of a receiver as Allen Robinson is. I have told you from the very beginning, I hate the Cowboys shit. Allen Hurns, horrible. Terrence Williams, horrible. Cole Beasley is going to catch passes, but it's not going to be that good. He's not going to catch touchdowns. He's not.
How does Brandon feel about that?
So we have our social media director, James Sherrill, was asking, how does Brandon feel about the Cowboys receivers?
Well, I mean, I've been on record on this show. I think that they're going to do exactly what they were hired to do. I mean, it's going to be a close to the line. It's going to be a close to the line of scrimmage type offense.
You're the Woo Fantasy Drinking Game coordinator.
Yeah, they're going to be running the ball like crazy this year. I mean, now if we can get the offensive line issues taken care of, we're going to be. It's going to be a lot of short passes. Allen Hurns is going to be a guy that's going to be the go-to when it comes to that.
So Alex, my girlfriend. So James is social media coordinator. Alex is the official Woo Fantasy Drinking Game coordinator and an official Woo girl.
A Woo girl. Where she got plenty of exercise doing that in Nashville a couple of weeks back as they painted the town red.
It was a fun paint.
Lots of wooing going on in downtown Nashville. If you've not been there,
lots of wooing going on in the Heffley household right now.
Yeah, a lot of wooing going on in the Heffley household in Atlanta, GA.
Yeah. I'll be a woo girl.
Let's see here. Looking at my roster real quick as we kind of get down to it. We got 4 bench spots left. Haven't gotten the tight end. There's a couple guys that I'm eyeing here in this round. Matt Ryan is the last pick that just came off the board.
By the way, Mr. Charisma goes Gio Bernard, John Ross, 2 Bengals.
Yeah, he's probably watching a lot of this preseason action. John Ross is starting to get talked up mighty heavily just from preseason play alone. Let's see if that translates into the regular season. Myself, I've never been sold on John Ross. I think he's a guy that's always going to deal with injuries just because of slender frame and things to that nature. I don't think he's going to be a player you can count on a weekly basis. Somebody else pointed that out just earlier today. I was talking to that said he's going to be probably more of a he's probably going to be a higher player owned in best player this year than anything because he could hit in a given week. Whereas if you're in a redraft league, he could hit in that week you do not have him in your lineup. Kirk Cousins. We got another quarterback run going here. Matt Ryan followed by Kirk Cousins, followed by Jimmy G, Mr. Garoppolo off the board now.
Jimmy Grapes.
Huh.
No, Jared Goff. Wow, we are getting a little bit of a quarterback.
Yeah, Jared Goff. Everybody's starting to scoop up these backup quarterbacks right now. They're not.
Yeah, let them go ahead with that. DJ Moore. I was kind of hoping
points, ladies and gentlemen.
Kind of hoping DJ Moore would have made it back, but he goes right in front of you there. Good pick by Brad Liss right there. Nice pick. I think he's got some potential.
Let's see here. I think I'm probably my next pick that I'm going to make here. I'm going to try to.
Going to go tight end finally. I can tell you if you don't, I'm getting ready to grab a backup tight end.
Well, then I'll just let you go ahead and grab that backup tight end, sir, because I have a player that I'm going to grab here. I think I'm going to kind of go ahead and wrap up my wide receivers in this draft with this pick. Close it out with 6 guys. Guy that I'm kind of high on this year. He's looked good in the preseason so far. Playing on a team that's going to score a lot of points with a quarterback that knows how to score points, knows how to throw the receivers. Pick for me is going to be Mr. Mike Williams, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of upside here with Mike Williams. What are we thinking there? How you like the Mike Williams pick?
Fortunately, I was planning on going that way here.
And that's why I made that
pretty
pick.
Soon. That's why I was hopefully trying to talk you into a tight end here. But
I think that's a guy that has the potential to be a weekly starter in fantasy football lineups this year. And I'm grabbing him in the 11th round as my 6th wide receiver here in this draft. So I am on board.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So
I am definitely not going back at tight end.
No, I was assuming that was nothing but poppycock. When it comes to
you got to throw it out in these kind of things. You never know if I make somebody nervous there.
So there's a guy that's on the board right now. If you're watching live on YouTube, I'm just gonna point him out, and he's risen over the last few days because of the injury to Marquise Lee. Keelan Cole on the board.
Well, honestly, I thought that's who you were gonna go.
I thought
here's the thing.
There's still too many guys there on a team that's not going to throw the ball enough.
Way too many options. I tell you who I'd love to go right here if I didn't already have Corey Davis. I'd love to go Rashard Matthews. I think that's a great pick. Kalen Ballage? Wow. Okay.
Somebody was watching preseason action tonight with the Kalen Ballage pick, which honestly, that would have been a pick I'd have probably made towards the end of the draft had he been there, but I'm not going to pull that trigger in the 11th round.
Freaking Dr. Harwood here is just
eating your lunch.
Killing my picks here. Yeah, killing my pick. I mean, granted, there's a couple quarterbacks here that I'm cool getting.
You were gonna go.
I would have. I was. Yeah. I mean, I've got Carson Wentz.
You probably need to solidify week 1 just in case.
And I've talked him up how much I just don't like him, but the way the draft is falling, I am gonna go with him. I am gonna go. Really gonna do it? Yeah, fuck it. We're going Pat Mahomes. Upside. I'm getting his upside. I think is just there. If I'm drafting him as my number 1, I don't like it as my backup. Yeah, let's go.
I do not hate that pick. That would have been my pick this round. But I was stuck in a position where do I take the backup quarterback or do I take a guy that the upside I think is going to be there that he could probably fill in my lineup here and there throughout the year. So I made the selection with Mike Williams to leave it at risk to see if Mahomes would come back to me, and he did not. So those are the risks he takes in drafts like this with a lot of smart guys in some of these draft rooms here. So I do not hate that pick.
Yeah, Rivers is the guy I would have loved to have had. I'm more of a traditional, drop back guy. Rivers, they've got so many guys in that offense there that he can throw the ball to.
Yeah, it's just.
Let's go, Acuna. All right, we're down to our last out here, bottom 9, 2 out. Braves down to run. Ronald Acuna 3 for 4. We got a defense.
We have our first defense selected in this draft here. Last pick of round 11, Jacksonville Jaguars comes off the board. Woof, man, yikes!
Tell you where I'm gonna go right here, and I didn't want to say his name while still is on the board just because it's happened to me a couple times right here. I'm not a fan of any of these running backs right here.
There's a cricket in the house.
There's a cricket in the house. Apparently, just heard some chirping going on.
Literal cricket.
Literal chirping. So
you don't want to hear it.
So the guy I'm going to go with is a guy I took the end. He looked really good tonight in the game. They were airing on NFL Network, and literally for just upside, I'm going with I'm going to get a Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
Pick to Nick Heffley. I can sign on for that pick. I do like the pick there.
I think at this point he's better than any of the other backs that's left on the board right here. So
yeah, you can't argue that pick. I'll give you that. That's for sure. Now, when it comes to me here in the next few picks, we're looking, see.
Still need a tight end.
Some of the options there. I mean, you got some tight ends on the board. but are they worth it at this point in time?
So here's the spot I'm worried about. Like you're gonna have a couple of these teams. I don't know who. You're gonna have a couple of these teams that are gonna get a backup tight end. Does every team? The question is, does every team behind you have a tight end?
Not every team behind me does. The team right behind me does not have a tight end.
Which means you pretty much have to get one now or risk not getting one back.
See, now we're starting to get some of these also rans at running back being selected after Nick Chubb. We've got T.J. Yeldon. We've got Jeremy Hill off the board.
Take Jeremy Hill seriously,
both of which are not guys that I am looking at drafting whatsoever. So they can have them.
Not even close.
Yeah, I'm not signing on for that at all. Whereas, I mean, there's a couple of guys that I'm looking at for this next round. You got Corey Clement that just comes off the board. I mean, that's a pick that I probably could have made here in this spot here, but I think what we're gonna do at this point in time in this draft, I do not like Charles Clay. That's the top-rated player on the board here on ESPN's app. What we're gonna do though, we're gonna go with show favorite. We're gonna go with George Kittle.
I think that's certainly the pick I would have gone with.
Yep, I think that's solid. It's gonna put me in a position where I'm probably gonna take a backup tight end here in another round or two, just to kind of solidify the position. But let's see, we got 3 bench spots left. Probably going to devote a bench spot to another tight end.
I think you have to just to make sure.
Backup quarterback.
Just to make sure Kittle's not out a couple weeks. I think you have to almost.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a tight end or two that I'm looking at on that board that I do like.
Yeah, I mean, same with me. I mean, I ideally would have waited another round or two, but with Wentz's week 1 status, which I think he'll play week 1, but with his week 1 status up in the air, I've got to go out and get a guy.
Los Angeles Rams, the pick back behind me to the guy that does not have a tight end yet. Or no, actually, Tyler Eifert was the pick back behind me. I did miss that. I apologize. So Tyler Eifert, taking a guess, probably, I imagine he would have went Kittle had I not taken Kittle there. Then followed by Rams defense, then followed by Danny Amendola.
PPR league, but yuck.
Yeah, that is it's questionable.
Yeah.
Dante Moncrief. Someone trying to reach for the.
It's not where the value is for sure.
Not a lot of value there. I think Keelan Cole would have been the better selection there.
The official Woo Fantasy drinking game coordinator, my girlfriend Alex, has flicked it over to the Bronco game right after the Braves lost here. Oh, she's wooing now. She's hoping her Broncos have a goal line defensive stand here against Arizona. Is that Josh Rosen? We're down second and nope, not Josh Rosen. Former Bear Mike Glennon. Yuck. See, this is the sexy thing about my girlfriend. My girlfriend knows who the 3rd string quarterback is for the Arizona Cardinals. This is.
Let's go ahead and point this out real quick too. Yes, he's 3rd string quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. The man that stole money from the Chicago Bears last year.
What the?
Mike Glennon.
I don't know what the fuck we were thinking signing Mike Glennon and signing him for so much money. Like,
that was something that I laughed.
I told you the second that happened, I was like, "What are we doing?" Like, he couldn't do anything in Tampa, and we signed him to a quarterback 1 numbers. Now, granted, the good thing we did is we had a 1-year opt out, which we exceeded, which I told you that that would have been the best move, which we did, which. It's not bad, but holy crap, what a crappy pick.
Calvin Ridley off the board. Let's see.
I am picking
Matthews still out there.
that's my
Keelan
next
Cole
pick,
still out
yes.
there. Christian Kirk.
There's a lot of receivers here. This is why I held off taking wide receiver this last round. There's too much value out there for me. Too much value out there for me to go ahead and take a wide receiver when I can get so many good ones. I only have 4 right now, and I'm looking back at some of these wide receivers coming back down the board, and I'm cool.
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
which I figured out why I did. By the way, I did figure out our team 2 J.P. Hogan, the former roommate here, fantasy drafter extraordinaire. I did figure out why he was having some issues getting on. He is at the Kennesaw State, Georgia State game tonight here in Atlanta, drafting remotely. That's the lovely part about drafting in some of these things. You can draft right on your phone with presumably horrible connection, but he's on auto draft. I guess he just said, you know what, we're throwing up some dough, and we're just going to let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, we're going to auto draft this puppy and see how things fall.
Which it looks like with Calvin Ridley there, it looks like he at least put in his Q guys there. So
yeah, potentially. See, now we have.
Yep, he definitely put in his Q guys because James Washington goes up before to him. So
let's see, did I miss a pick up here?
Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Derek Carr, James Washington.
Let's see here. I did miss a pick on my app here, keeping up with things.
Showing Sam Bradford out there. What do you? Sam Bradford's just one of those guys that, man, he's he hasn't been horrible when he's been out there, but boy, does he ever get hurt often.
A lot. He is a guy that you cannot count on. That is for sure.
Oh, and Arizona scored against the Broncos defense. Wow.
Dante Moncrief.
Hey, what's going on? Eagles defense. Oh, Rashard Matthews in the Eagles defense.
Yeah, I'm having to catch back up with the picks here on the app. Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Derek Carr,
Taywan, Tennessee.
Now to me here. Let's see here.
Oh, wow, and Des Bryant goes right in front of you. How do you like them apples?
I would have made that pick.
You wouldn't think. I know.
Like I said, I'm at a point in the draft where we're grabbing some players who can potentially help us down the road. Let's see here. Do I go back a quarterback? Do I go with the running back here? I believe
the children are our future. Teach them well. Let them lead the way.
Yeah, that's
sexual chocolate.
Sexual chocolate in the house. Not a big fan of this pick here, but with the PPR format, the guy that's going to be the last running back on my roster, I think we're going to go with the pick of Theo Riddick.
Theodis Riddick?
Yes.
Yeah, I hate that pick.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the pick, like I said, but, I mean, last running back, there's probably a couple other players I wanted to grab. This is around the spot where I would have wanted to go with Kalen Ballage. It's one of those type of guys that I think will fit in. Even questioned the fact there to go with a Breida. I think a Breida pick there would have been a sound pick.
Thinking about Breida here. Thinking about going ahead and possibly backing up Melvin Gordon, going and get Austin Eckler. Here for me in a couple picks. I got 3 picks until I'm up here. Still, though, I mean, pretty much all the wide receivers we had talked about a couple rounds ago are all still on the board here. So, as Cam Meredith comes off the board, I mean, this is one of the few things that I like drafting around. Oh, actually, before that, let's go back up on the draft board here because Marcus Mariota went ahead of Cam Meredith, which I did not see.
James Washington. Somebody's watching the preseason action here a little bit.
He have a good night. I haven't even looked.
No, I'm just saying overall in general. Yeah, James Washington's been a guy that's played well over the course of the preseason. You've got guys that are buying into preseason hype, which is something that I never do. Let's see here. And I think it's gotten to the point now, like I do have Dez Bryant in a couple leagues that matter, but drafting Dez Bryant at this point seems like a fail to me.
Yeah, I mean he's a guy that could finish up here. So by the way, I'm up right now. I am going running back, but not the aforementioned Austin Eckler. I am going with an upside guy who I think could fit in this offense here. I am going with Mr. Matt Breida.
Good pick. I like that. It's like I said, I was a coin toss for me between Theo Riddick and Matt Breida. Right now, I know that Theo Riddick's role is the guy that's going to be catching passes. So essentially, I got a Giovanni Bernard, Chris Thompson type guy, but I'm getting him 4 rounds later than those players are being drafted. So I like the value there, but I do like the Matt Breida pick this late in the draft. He's a guy that, if you want to believe all the camp stuff coming out, is a lot of beat writers over there in San Francisco are saying that he's going to be heavily involved as a 1-2 punch type guy in this backfield for San Francisco. So believe that. However, take that however you want that to take that and use that in your draft.
I can tell you, I'm getting ready to queue up a Woo Fantasy favorite here. Let's hope he drops. I'm not going to say his name because sure as shit that I do is going to get taken.
Probably. I love the fact, as I'm looking at this draft board, and like I said, if you're watching live on YouTube, there's a guy that's on the draft board that I've fell for the trap on this guy plenty of times before.
Is that Josh Doxson?
Christine Michael.
Oh, Christine, yeah. If anything, you cannot draft a guy named Christine.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It is his fault. It's his fault. His name is Christine. So the Woo Fantasy favorite we're going with is not really at the top of the draft board over here. He should be going up in a lot of drafts, and especially with who we were talking about getting released earlier. We're going to go with Geronimo Allison.
Yeah, that is a player to get this late in your draft. I think he's a quality pick by Nick Heffley there.
Thought about going Josh Doxson, Keelan Cole, but I like Geronimo Allison's potential. Again, I am not a Randall Cobb. Yeah, not a Randall Cobb fan. He's a number 2 in that offense, playing what has been the Devontae Adams role the last couple of years. I am in for a great value pick here in round 14.
Yeah, no, I'm
as I get paraded by Mr. Charisma.
Mr.
I
Charisma hated that pick. He's on the other end of the board, assuming that Geronimo Allison would have fell back to him another 10 picks. There's just no guarantee.
And that's one of those you got to know how to go down the draft board. You got to be able to look down the draft board a little bit and figure out who are the guys that should be picked that are not being picked. And he's that guy that just absolutely stood out for me as somebody who I think can get to a top 25 status out of these wide receivers more than anybody else.
And there we go. We have Keelan Cole finally off the board here.
Keelan Cole on the draft tab was the number 86th ranked player. Again, I think Keelan Cole reminds me a lot of like a Danny Amendola kind of guy, like a Cole Beasley. He's gonna catch balls, but is he gonna get in the end zone? No. I would much rather have a high upside guy.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see here. And then Ben Watson selected Selected right in front of me. It might
I
have been a pick.
that was I was gonna say I think that might have been a pick. You've been
That
high
might
on
have been
Ben
a pick
Watson.
I would have taken there. But looking at my draft board now, going across, seeing a lot of teams that already have backup quarterbacks.
Oh, your boy Dak Prescott sitting out there. You tried to draft him a couple times. Are you going him now?
No, not going. Not going Dak right
Really?
now. I'm looking. I could potentially go Dak Prescott here in another round or two. Uh, Actually, I think since Ben Watson's off the board, I'm going to forego getting a second tight end in this draft for an upside play. Someone that I've been touting, I think has a high upside. We're going to go on down this draft list here a little bit to grab him.
You
though.
bang it. You hitting the table again.
No, I'm hitting the button to draft this player on the board, and that is Dante Foreman.
I can hear you banging on the table over there.
No. So I select Dante Foreman here, sixth running back for me. I think that's going to be a guy that. Do we have an IR position on this roster in this league, Mr. Commissioner?
Wait, what did you say?
I said, do we have an IR spot on this in this
Uh,
setup here?
I don't believe we do, but we very well may. I don't know,
Okay.
to be quite honest.
Because I'm thinking that could be something I could throw a Dante Foreman in the IR spot. Most of your leagues on ESPN tend to have an IR spot with the rosters, so yeah, he's a guy that I can plug in there, keep him on my bench until he's ready and healthy. And like I've been saying all off season long, I think Dante Foreman's a guy that can come around and potentially win you a league down the line. I think he overtakes Lamar Miller at some point this season. I know the coaching staff likes him, so we're gonna ride Dante Foreman here. Chris Godwin.
I know it's somebody that you and I both think is a very very high upside pick. You know, Lamar Miller, for whatever reason, I guess he's just that kind of steady guy that just keeps winning the race. I mean, I like Foreman, but I just unless Lamar Miller gets hurt, I don't think Dante Foreman is going to see the field as much as I would like to have him, because I think he is, at this point, is easily the most talented back as Charles Clay comes off the board.
Charles Clay off the board, yes.
Yeah.
Followed by
Who are
Sutton.
Who are you taking a look at tight end? Because there is squadoosh out there right now.
Like I said, once Ben Watson came off the board, most of these other guys for me are waiver wire pickups, matchup plays in a given week. So, like I said, I'm with the pick of Foreman there that I made. I'm foregoing selecting a second tight end here. So, I'll fill my last bench spot with my backup quarterback, and feel just fine about it. Like I said, I don't. Most of those players there, at this point right now, you're throwing darts out there. You're trying to get a flyer. You're trying to grab a player that's going to help you. A second tight end out of this group of players, I don't think is a player that's going to help me. Not going to be in my lineup in a given week. So we're gonna forego that position. We're gonna solidify the backup quarterback spot, and then we're gonna go grab our defense and our kicker, and we're gonna go about our business. Seeing as Philip Dorsett comes off the board. Not a big fan of that pick. I know there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of talk of a Philip Dorsett.
We ain't buying into it. I look at him the same way as I do, the same exact way as I look at him like Tyler Lockett. I am not a fan, never will be a fan. He kept getting talked up in Indianapolis. He didn't do crap. He's never doing crap. Don't touch him.
No, not at all. I agree with that.
And who does he go to? Mr. Charisma.
Who already has Julian Edelman, by the way. Let's point that out as well. I think that might be somewhat of a gaffe of a pick there.
I hate that pick.
Yeah, I'm not that's not an exciting
Well, let's
pick.
see. His question was, and there goes Andy Dalton.
And he goes
Sure
Andy
was your next
Dalton
pick.
as his let's look at this just real quick here. He
Look at
has
projected standing.
Derek Carr and Andy Dalton as his quarterbacks that he's going into battle with on a weekly basis. No, I'm not excited about that. That's when waiting on your quarterback is taken too far.
When waiting on your fantasy quarterback goes wrong.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I waited for Russell Wilson and get him in the, what was it, the 7th round. You can't go wrong there.
Yeesh.
Latavius Murray, followed by Allen Hurns here as we're kind of finishing up this draft here in round 15. We got another 2 rounds to go that should be filled with mostly picks that are kickers and defenses.
And speaking of kickers,
yes,
our first one,
kickers, Stephen
Philip
Gostkowski comes off the board.
Philip Hampton pops up. Stephen Gostkowski, former Memphis Tiger. Oh, Dan Bailey. Oh, here we go. Well, Dan Bailey goes to Brad right in front of you, who's the other token Cowboy fan in the room.
Which he can have him. That's totally fine. I'm not going to take Dan Bailey in round 15
This is not 4 years.
17.
It's not 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, like, okay, so I thought in most of these drafts that we were doing, it was like it was absolutely, everybody waited until the last round to get a kicker. When did guys start getting them in round 15 and round 16 here in these drafts, like 2 rounds before the end? Like, why? You can wait and stream. Like, I got Harrison Butker last year on free agency in most of the leagues after some kickers went down and he finished, what did he? I think he was the number 1 or number 2 kicker after he started kicking. Like, why get a guy when you can? I mean, granted, a lot of the guys back in this part of the draft are not good. But guess what? I would still rather take a chance on a wide receiver or running back or even a tight end here than go ahead and get my kicker. Horrible.
Yeah, I agree with that. So here, actually, I mean, I could go with Dak
Prescott.
Prescott.
You're on 30 seconds.
Could go with Dak Prescott as my backup quarterback.
Alex Smith.
I think I'm going to go with Alex Smith. I think
that's the best choice, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think here in this league, he presents the better value.
Absolutely. I hate Dak Prescott. Alex Smith has got great receiving options to throw the ball to.
Yes.
Dak Prescott has Michael Gallup. I was hoping you go Dak Prescott just because I think you've got a halfway decent team, although the app does not think you have a great team.
Well, of course, I haven't drafted a kicker or a defense yet.
Also true, as I have also not drafted.
So we'll go over the draft grades of the app once we finish this draft.
Jenkins. So my pick is up here.
I get the terrible pick, Brandon, from Justin Farley.
Gotta love it
that I have Alex Smith as my backup quarterback.
He had a chance to freaking get him. What the hell is he thinking? All right, so running back pick here for me. The pick is easy. I drafted Matt Breida the last round. As we have been talking for a long time, grab your backups. I had Melvin Gordon in round 1. I'm drafting Austin Eckler here with this pick. No question for me.
So went Alex Smith, followed by Austin Seferian-Jenkins, which you've really not seen much of in the preseason. So who's to say exactly what role he's going to have in this offense? Jameis Winston was the pick behind Seferian-Jenkins.
There goes Dak.
Nick. Yeah, man.
So Dede Westbrook goes. So I'm up here. It's time for a defense. Really, I am all about the streaming on the defenses as far as that goes. Baltimore is the first team with the Bills and the Bengals the first 2 weeks. Let's see here. We got the Saints, Tampa Bay, the Browns, the Falcons, the Giants, the Skins. That's not a bad defensive pick here. Patriots also there. Let's see, Patriots got the Texans, the Jags, the Lions, the Dolphins, the Colts. A couple of decent defensive picks here. Got about 50 seconds here to go on who I'm going to get. I think at least just for the first 2 weeks here, especially, looks like Mr. 6 interceptions is going to be starting against the Ravens here week 1. We're going to draft the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that pick at all. That's solid. And if it gets back down to me, this is going to be a round where I'm going to take my defense as well. And if you're going to talk about a matchup play, week one, this defense is at home, and they play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Ryan Fitzmagic at quarterback. I'm going to be looking at the New Orleans Saints as my potential defense. James Conner coming off the board. Let's see here.
Patsy.
James
You
Conner.
say you're going for New Orleans.
Yes.
I mean, that's not bad. I don't think you're going wrong with any of these right here.
Nah. I mean, if they play anything like they did last year, I mean, they were a top defense. They scored points on a weekly basis. They were very consistent. But then again, this is a defense. I mean, so you're going to be likely to drop them and start streaming them once they hit their bye week or once you do not like the matchup that's presented to you. So that will be my pick. Will be the New Orleans Saints defense. Potentially. Which I'm looking at it real quick just to double check, just to verify. I do like that Bears defense, though.
I do like the Bears this year.
I'm not sure if they're going to score the amount of points that I need for them to be successful for me, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'll say this looking, I mean, obviously a bad week one opponent against the Packers, but they do have the Seahawks, the Cards, the Bucks, week 5 bye, and the Dolphins. Bye with they got the Patriots, and then the Jets, the Bills. In the first 9 weeks, well, the first 8 weeks you can play them, 4 or 5 out of those is a really good matchup.
Yep. Yeah, you got guys coming off the board right now like Hayden Hurst. You've got Doug Martin, Cameron Brake coming off the board. These are guys that are just, for me, they're waiver wire players. I'm not the type of guy that's going to go grab a player that I know I'm going to be immediately dropping. So why not go and reach for a player that you think has high upside? Stash him on your roster. Let it see how it plays out over the first couple weeks of the season. Who knows? You might strike a gold mine in round 15, 16, 17. Greg Zuerlein is the pick at kicker. Josh Doxson now off the board here late in round 16.
Good. Doug Martin's an interesting pick here for me. I mean, I think Marshawn Lynch is going to be a guy that is going to show up. I don't like him as much in a PPR league like this comparatively, but I think if you got Lynch, I think you have to take somebody like Martin.
Yeah, potentially.
And Farley going with the Titans defense. Dolphins, Texans, Jags, Eagles, not necessarily a great first 4 weeks to be matching up against your defense.
Well, apparently I am booted out of the room yet again.
Gotta get that internet connection fixed. What is that?
I don't know if it's the internet
Jackson
or
internet.
It's this crappy draft room.
Probably a little bit of both. I have not been booted out once. I have fabulous Comcast internet. Comcast needs to become a Woo Fantasy sponsor because they are easily the best internet in comparison to these local dial-up quality internets or AT&T.
So yes, so Justin Farley goes Titans defense. Shocker.
By the way, before we get done with the draft here, let's give another shout out to the website that you write for.
Yes, rotoexperts.com. That is the great place to go to get that exclusive Edge draft kit in-season package. Woo Fantasy sponsor is going to get you 10% off at checkout. So definitely go grab that. We're going to help you win some money this year as well on rotoexperts.com.
Woodrow Patterson.
As
Woo
well
fantasy
as
favorite.
my in-season advice, we're gonna have the woo and boo during the week instead of the start sits that you normally see everywhere else. We're gonna have woo and poo for you this season on RotoExperts.com.
Woo fantasy taking over the world.
That's right, we're trying to. That is definitely the case. And see, we got Lions defense followed by Chris Boswell trying to get this wrapped up so I'll have everything nice.
So we can
and
take
neat.
a look at the draft kit RotoWire draft kit rankings here. Once we all get once Brandon and I get our kickers here.
Yeah, exactly. I still can't. Wow. I mean, I do expect some good things out of the Dallas defense this year, so I understand the pick there. But playing Carolina week 1, well, I will say this: with the offensive line injuries that they have sustained so far,
good luck. You're not gonna even with those.
I mean, there's
Cam
gonna
Newton's
be some sacks to be had. I will say
They're
that.
crazy. Cam Newton is gonna run wild over you guys.
And Matt Prater will be the kicker that I select to round out my team.
Come on, butt kicker. Come on, butt kicker. If you didn't know, Harrison Butker was a guy that I picked up after drafting Cody Parkey last year for the Eagles, and when he sucked and went down, I went and got Harrison Butker in a lot of drafts last year and made me look really smart. And of course, I say his name, he goes right in front of me.
Yeah, Harrison Butker, the pick right in front of you.
Which is cool.
Jake Elliott, Will Lutz. What are we doing?
Oh no, we're going Jake Elliott here.
Okay.
Gonna get some double points, quote unquote. I will be scoring every Philadelphia Eagle point there is to be had.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna be there to they're gonna score plenty of points. That's for sure. I think they who knows, they might start off a little slow. As we got Adam Vinatieri.
And Adam Vinatieri to end
is the Mr. Irrelevant of this draft. So now we will go and check out the final tally here in this draft here.
Ooh, it's got you down below me, Brandon.
Yeah. Well, no, not on mine. It does not. I'm up above you on mine. I don't know how you put in your scoring.
I don't know how you put in your scoring.
I put in my scoring earlier today on this app.
The commissioner puts in the correct scoring there. Apparently, you don't.
Well,
nonetheless,
you have been known to mess up the scoring on these apps here and getting a dismissal here. So on my app here, the projected standings, you're going to have, let's see, the tight end Ertz team.
That is little. I think that's little brother.
And
is he in this league?
Was he?
Is he?
I don't think he is.
Let's see who that team actually is here.
Tight end Ertz.
Tight end Ertz. Oh wow! The aforementioned tight end, my tight end Ertz when I part.
Yes.
John Matthew McConaughey.
Wow. Okay. So his team.
Wow.
Right.
He
now,
must not have been drinking.
Projected standings wise, let's go ahead and point this out here. The team that he drafted, he went DeAndre Hopkins, Kareem Hunt in round 2, which I think that's going to give a lot of leeway to the projected standings. Is getting value in a player like Hunt in round 2 is going to really sway things in your favor. And then also Travis Kelce in round 3, Aaron Rodgers in round 4. So
I don't like his team. I don't know how it's ranked. Maybe because he got Travis Kelce. But, I mean, he's got Marshawn Lynch, who's not going to catch a lot of passes. Robert Woods, who's going to be fighting Chris. I like Crabtree.
Crabtree goes on.
Like Crabtree. I'm not in love with the team. He is going to have. He better hope his starters go because his backups are outside of Jordan Reed are horrendous.
Yeah, it's like I just said. The top 4 picks are good, and he has a lot of weight carrying him because of his top 4 picks. But outside of that, like you mentioned, Marshawn Lynch, Robert Woods, Michael Crabtree, Pierre Garçon, Jordan Reed, Jordan Wilkins, Kalen Ballage, both of those 2 backs could Could
I don't
prove
like
to
Kalen
do some
Ballage.
things. I've been a guy that I've written about Kalen Ballage after the NFL draft. I mean, there's some things that I like with his game, but his position on the Miami Dolphins team is so heavily dependent on Kenyon Drake getting hurt, Frank Gore not showing anything whatsoever for him to garner the playing time that you would need.
He's got a couple of hoops.
Like I said, he drafts Kalen Ballage in round 11, probably based on the fact that he saw Kalen Ballage score a touchdown tonight.
Yeah, that's great. Congratulations. You got a bunch of 2s and 3s playing.
Outside
go
of
right
that,
ahead.
see, the Worthless team was the next. Worthless, followed by Justin Farley's team, according to my projected
He's
standings.
below. Yeah, mine he was a little below that.
So
You sure you put in the above 40-yard?
I did 2 points
okay.
for that. Yep.
Apparently you did. Well, who knows?
Yep.
So the Worthless Bunch team, he was the guy that he went Antonio Brown in round 1. He's got Drew Brees as quarterback, who I'm not a fan of this year. Devontae Freeman, Jamal Williams, who I like, but he's got Tyreek Hill, he's got Zach Ertz. It looks like the draft software weighted the teams who drafted the tight end a little bit better. Because I know the number 3 team on mine was Goodell's Goons, Philip Hampton, who grabbed Rob Gronkowski there. So
yeah.
Let's go over our drafts real quick. Not that everybody needs to. I'm sure everybody's been waiting on pins and needles for us to go over our draft. So I tell you what, let's do this. Let's go over. I'm going to go over your team. You can go over my team, and let's just give an honest, just hey, here's what I think about yours. Yeah, about each other's team. I think that is the fair thing for each of us to do, because obviously I know you and I are both fans of each other's teams. Never.
That's right.
Honest assessment of your team. I will be honest, it's a team that I would have loved to have and loved to draft. I am not a fan of Russell Wilson in this format as much as I am in the ones that we did the other night, to where you get 5 points per rushing yard as opposed to 10. Although I do think he's going to be throwing the ball. I like Alvin Kamara. I like LaShawn McCoy. I think I would have liked your team better with A.J. Green at the 1 instead of Devontae Adams, but I like Devontae Adams. Jarvis Landry, I like. Marquise Goodwin, I like. Mark Ingram, I like in your flex spot. I think you've got enough depth on this team that you're going to be in it all year. I think your one question mark, I think you made a major faux pas. Not getting a better tight end is going to be your question. You do have a good backup quarterback in Alex Smith, so I would give your team, I'm going to say a B+. I think you might have some problems scoring touchdowns between Jarvis Landry and Marquise Goodwin. Outside, if you had a better tight end on this team, I would like your team a whole lot more. I think you're a little too deep, if that even makes sense at wide receiver. I think you could probably trade a wide receiver off to get a better tight end at some point. You better hope George Kittle is there week 1, but I do like George Kittle, as you very well know. But yeah, my overall assessment of your team, B+. I think you will be right there. And I'd say at worst, you're going to be Final Four.
Yeah, I think I'll be in the thick of it as well too. But looking at it,
maybe the best, maybe the last one, maybe the best team that you drafted. You had a good draft. And you were drafting? Was it 7? Is that where you were drafting in?
Yeah, the 7th spot.
Yeah, I think that was a good spot. This was a draft with the guys in this room. I would have loved to have been top 5. I think that's where the value was. But no, I think 7 was a perfect spot for you to draft on here. I would love to have been up there. So yeah, good team. I think I really am. I'm honest. This is probably one of the better teams you drafted. And I think you had a couple misses on some tight ends. You probably could have taken over the value at wide receiver that was a little bit deeper, especially your top end wide receiver guys. But outside of that, I think you had a solid draft. B+ bordering on a very light A.
Yeah.
But good draft.
Well, all right. Let's see. We'll switch gears and go to the 11th spot where Nick drafted from. Started off with Melvin Gordon, Christian McCaffrey. Fairly decent start. Myself, I would have gone Kareem Hunt there with the pick. But we've discussed that earlier in the show. I think you probably start to have to put a little more weight to the offensive line situation in Carolina. I think that's going to spell some issues for Christian McCaffrey earlier on in the season, but he could make up for it with the catches. So you're splitting hairs between the two backs there. So the fact you started off with double running back means you had to rebound quickly and go to wide receiver hard and heavy after that fact. Adam Thielen, Demaryius Thomas, Corey Davis. Corey Davis, I think, is solid. Solidly your three. And like I mentioned earlier in the show here, Adam Thielen, Demaryius Thomas, I think you have two solid wide receiver twos, but you do not have a wide receiver one. Jimmy Graham at tight end is a really solid pick. I do like him this year. I've gotten him earlier in some of the drafts that I've done earlier in the summer. So I do like that. Isaiah Crowell, followed by Bilal Powell. Carson Wentz is your quarterback. Jordy Nelson. Patrick Mahomes, I think, is... You might have some weeks where Mahomes probably will start for you.
I'm sure it may even... Maybe week one.
Yeah, it could be the case. I mean, your Carson Wentz, Patrick Mahomes duo at quarterback is the exact same quarterback duo that I got in the Flex Leagues draft with Jake Seeley and a lot of the industry experts in D.C. back a few weekends ago. So I can't say that I don't hate your quarterback situation there, but Chubb, Breida, Eckler, later picks there. You got the handcuff of Gordon, so that was a smart move there. You don't have to worry about jumping to the waiver wire in case of injury. Allison, the late pickup at wide receiver. So you went 5 receivers deep here in a PPR format. Like I said, you do not have a surefire wide receiver one on this team, which honestly, that is something that I've done in the past, and you've hammered me for. Has been the fact.
Well, but if you go by the numbers, though, B, Adam Thielen last year finished number 9 at wide receiver. So according to the numbers, he is a number 1 wide receiver.
That is last year's rankings. We're drafting for 2018.
I understand that. I understand that.
New quarterback, I believe Kirk Cousins likes. And we've seen it in the preseason. I think he likes throwing to Diggs more than he likes throwing to Thielen.
He does. I would much prefer Diggs over Thielen.
And you're not getting Diggs in the 3rd round in drafts now. It's just not going to happen. So
he went late too.
The way that your team shook out, I think there's going to be weeks where you're going to be hurting for production at wide receiver. Can your 2 top running backs carry you due to that? And will Carson Wentz do the exact same thing he did last year as far as rate of touchdowns scored? You're going to have to hope so for that. I think right now your team, I'm going to give you a C+.
Wow.
Is how I'm looking at this team right now. I think there's some good, but there's also some question. Corey Davis is a guy that I know a lot of people are high on, and we keep coming back to and looking at. He's what we've mentioned as far as with the potential of Anthony Miller, the potential of Allen Robinson is he's so dependent on the quarterback, and then it's the same situation with Corey Davis. Can Mariota have a return to form? That remains to be seen. I'm not liked what I've seen out of him so far, but yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be some weeks that you're going to struggle, but then I think there's going to be other weeks where you're going to be head and shoulders above the rest as far as scoring points in certain matchups. So yeah, I think it's a solid draft, but I think you do have some question marks. So yeah, I say C+ on the team.
Yeah. And I like, in looking at my team, I think just where my team fell. These are the 2 backs that I like most. If you gave me my choice of any of those top 5 backs that were there, these are the guys that I like. In taking a look, if I had gone a wide receiver there, the running backs I would have came back with, I didn't necessarily like as much. So Thielen's the top 12 wide receiver from last year. He was finished number 9. I think Demaryius Thomas is gonna return to wide receiver 1 form. He's got a quarterback. I think he will. I didn't necessarily want to lead on in earlier weeks, and I didn't get a chance to grab him as much in some of these other leagues as I would have liked just because of my draft position. And he actually was going early round 3 in a lot of the drafts that I know you and I did, which kind of shocked me a little bit, but that's okay. But I think I've got some guys that have some high upside. That are there. and just like we talked to, I mean, the one pick that I started taking late when you get to some of these running backs that are very blah, I think Nick Chubb is the more I see Carlos Hyde, I like Carlos Hyde, but I think he's going to get hurt. I think Nick Chubb is going to be one of those guys that's going to come back and possibly be maybe somebody on this team that I trade off for a good wide receiver, maybe combine some guys in. But I think Chubb might have a good year.
Yeah,
but
I got
a
guy
like
that's always had issues staying on the field. That's
been
prevalent.
He has, but as we've talked about a couple times, I'm a big proponent this year more than a lot of others in going ahead and grabbing your handcuff and going ahead and getting that guy. Especially in the Jets running back situation, I got Bilal Powell and Crowell. One of those guys should hopefully shake themselves out. And Eckler does have some value